The Los Angeles Rams. Wow. They just survived an absolute playoff thriller. A hard-stopping win that really put the entire league on notice. But you know what their reward is for that victory? A brutal one. A trip to the Windy City to face the Chicago Bears, who are, you could argue, the hottest and most dangerous team in the entire NFL right now. This isn't just another game, folks. It's a clash of titans. It's a battle of philosophies that is going to define a season. Today, we're going to break down the anatomy of this epic showdown. What's the secret weapon that gives the Rams that incredible poise in the playoffs? And will that championship experience be enough to stop the freight train of momentum that's barreling out of Chicago? Let's get into it.
But hey, before we dive deep into all that, if you love this kind of detailed analysis, do me a huge favor and just hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, let me know your prediction for the game down in the comments below. It really does help the channel a ton. Okay, let's start with what I think is the Rams' biggest asset.
So when you look at this Rams team, you just have to ask the question, right? After that insane down-to-the-wire win they just had in the wildcard round, what is it that gives them this unbelievable calm when the pressure is on? I mean, it can't just be talent, because, let's be honest, every single team in the playoffs is loaded with talent. And it's not just scheme, because schemes can be figured out and broken. No, it's something deeper than that. It's something that's woven into the very fabric of their culture. And that's what we're going to uncover. Because this intangible quality, that is the true foundation of their championship hopes.
It all starts right here, with a comeback mentality. See, this isn't a team that's only good when they're playing with a comfortable lead. In fact, you can make a pretty strong case that they are at their most dangerous when their backs are completely against the wall. In the playoffs, where every single snap feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds, that's when their true character really emerges. This kind of resilience, it doesn't happen by accident. It's a mindset that is deliberately cultivated, day in and day out, and we all just witnessed a masterclass in it. Let's just break down the sheer chaos of that wild card win against the Panthers. Just picture the scene for a second. You're on the road, the stadium is absolutely deafening, and with just minutes left on the clock, you go down. For 90% of teams in the NFL, that is a death sentence. The pressure becomes suffocating, players start to press, they try to do too much, and fatal mistakes happen. But not for this Rams team. Their veteran experience just took over. As one source noted, they simply did not blink. They needed a score, so what did they do? They calmly marched down the field and got one. Then they got the ball back and did it again, orchestrating a second clutch scoring drive and capping it all off with a game-winning touchdown in the final frantic seconds. That's so much more than a win. That is a cold-blooded statement about who they are. It's a level of poise under extreme fire that you just can't simulate in practice. It has to be forged in the heat of a real battle. And that collective composure, you know where it starts and ends? Right at the top. When the season was literally hanging in the balance, head coach Sean McVay was the calmest person in the entire building. As one source puts it, he never hit the panic button. Just think about what that really means for a second. There's no frantic screaming on the sidelines, no panicked last-second changes to the game plan. He just kept walking up and down, looking his players right in the eye, and reinforcing one simple, powerful message: we will win. That's not just coaching, you know. That is leadership in its absolute purest form. When your general is the anchor in the middle of a hurricane, it frees up the soldiers to just go out and execute their jobs. That unwavering belief is the engine that powers their entire comeback mentality.
And really, that team-wide mentality is just a direct extension of the single most important relationship in the entire organization: the connection between Sean McVay and his quarterback, Matthew Stafford. This duo isn't just a coach and a player. They are the synchronized heart and soul of this team's championship aspirations. Their bond, it's the central pillar that everything else is built on.
You know, the decision to go all in and trade for Matthew Stafford, it might just be the single best move Sean McVay has ever made. The sources are crystal clear on this, calling it one of his defining decisions as a head coach. And why was it so impactful? Well, because he didn't just acquire a quarterback with a cannon for an arm. He acquired a true partner, a veteran field general who could see the game the exact same way he did and execute his vision in the most chaotic, high-leverage moments imaginable. With a leader like Stafford at the helm, we're told that every minute seems calm. That synergy, that almost telepathic understanding between the play caller and the quarterback, is the true secret weapon that elevates this entire team from just being good to being truly elite.
And their connection, it goes so much deeper than just X's and O's on a whiteboard. Just look at this quote from Stafford. He's not talking about some brilliant play call or a perfect game plan here. He's talking about watching Sean McVay grow as a person, as a husband and a father. Stafford says the perspective that he has is so good. This is incredibly revealing. When a coach gains that kind of life perspective, it almost always translates to a calmer, more measured approach to leadership. It becomes less about the life or death panic of a single play and more about the bigger picture, the process. The fact that Stafford not only notices but openly admires McVay's growth as a man, that tells you everything you need to know about the profound respect and the depth of their bond. It's a partnership built on mutual admiration, both on and off the field, and that kind of trust is just unbreakable.
All right, so with that unshakable foundation of leadership and resilience established, the Rams now turn their focus to their next monumental challenge. Their journey takes them to the Windy City for a divisional round showdown against the Chicago Bears. And this isn't just any old playoff game. This is a clash of styles, a collision of narratives, and a battle for legacies.
And man, what a matchup this is. On one side, you've got the Los Angeles Rams, the experienced, playoff-tested veterans. They're built on a proven championship formula with that incredible McVay-Stafford duo at the core. They've been to the top of the mountain, and they know what it takes. On the other side, you've got the Chicago Bears, the hottest team in the NFL, just riding this massive wave of momentum and self-belief. They are led by one of the most electric young quarterbacks in the game, Caleb Williams, who has an entire city believing. This is the classic battle, the established, battle-hardened champion versus the hungry, explosive, and fearless challenger.
And to truly understand what this game means to the city of Chicago, you only need to see one number: 2007. That was the last time the Bears reached the Super Bowl. The source material describes this as arguably the Bears' biggest game in nearly 2 decades. Think about that for a second. An entire generation of Bears fans has waited for a moment this big. They're just 2 wins away from returning to the grandest stage in American sports. That level of hunger, that desperation from both the team and the fan base, makes them an incredibly dangerous opponent. They aren't just playing for a playoff win. They are playing for history, and they'll be doing it in front of a home crowd that is going to be absolutely ferocious.
So the stage is set. Experience versus momentum. A proven champion versus an entire city's hopes. But games of this magnitude, they're won and lost in the margins, on the details, on individual matchups, and flawless execution. So for the Rams to silence that crowd and walk out of Chicago with a win, a few key players are going to have to absolutely dominate their matchups. Let's break down the 3 keys to a Rams victory.
Key number 1, and this might surprise you, it's not a star receiver or a dominant pass rusher. It's a right guard, Kevin Dotson. And that tells you everything you need to know about how critical the battle in the trenches is in the playoffs. Dotson's been sidelined with an ankle injury, but his expected return is an absolute game changer. Sources describe him as the physical anchor of the entire offense, a player who brings brute strength at the point of attack. His return isn't just about giving Stafford an extra second to throw. It's about setting a dominant, punishing, physical tone from the very first snap of the game. He's the guy who can move the line of scrimmage in the run game and stonewall blitzing linebackers in the pass game. Getting him back is a massive psychological and physical boost for this entire team.
Okay, now, before we get to our second key player, we have to understand this critical defensive concept, rush lane discipline. It's a simple idea, but it has massive consequences. It means that when you rush the quarterback, you don't just run wildly at him. Each defender has an assigned lane, a specific path to the quarterback. By staying in those lanes, you create a collapsing pocket, like a cage with no escape routes. The second discipline breaks down and one guy abandons his lane, it creates a massive running lane for an athletic quarterback to escape, extend the play, and absolutely destroy your defense. Against a QB who can move, this isn't just important, it's everything.
And that concept brings us directly to key number 2, edge rusher Byron Young. The Bears quarterback, Caleb Williams, is described as a terrifying threat precisely because of his athleticism. He can escape pressure, throw from impossible angles, and turn what looks like a broken play into a 50-yard touchdown. So how do you counter a weapon like that? You unleash your own explosive weapon in Byron Young. But here's the crucial part. He can't just be fast, he has to be disciplined. Young's job is to use his incredible speed and pure explosiveness to get to the quarterback quickly, but he must maintain that rush lane discipline we just talked about. He has to cage Williams, not just chase him. If he can collapse the pocket without giving up the edge, he can neutralize the Bears' greatest strength. Young's performance in this one-on-one battle could honestly decide the fate of the entire game.
And finally, of course, it all comes down to the man under center. Key number 3 is, of course, Matthew Stafford himself. The source material calls him the league MVP favorite, and in a hostile environment like this one, he is going to need to deliver another MVP-caliber performance. This matchup is being framed as a duel between the past and the future of the league, Stafford versus Williams. But Stafford holds a unique, powerful advantage. He has spent an entire career playing in high-pressure road games. And more than that, from his long, hard-fought tenure with the Detroit Lions, he knows exactly what it's like to play the Bears in Chicago in January. He's felt that wind, he's heard that crowd, and he has faced that defense countless times. That deep well of experience, that unflappable calm in the face of a hostile storm, that is the ultimate X factor for the Los Angeles Rams.
So that's the breakdown. We're left with one single defining question.
The Rams have the championship pedigree, they have the veteran leadership, and they have that unbreakable bond between their coach and their quarterback. The Bears have the wild momentum, the dynamic young superstar, and the hopes of an entire city roaring behind them. So, will the cold, calculated experience of a champion be enough to withstand the tidal wave of momentum from the league's hottest team? It's the question that's going to be answered on Sunday night.
All right, that's the breakdown. And hey, if you want a fun way to support the channel, we've actually created some NFL-themed coloring books. They're perfect for fans of any age, kids, grandkids, or even for yourself to unwind with. If you're interested, the link is right down there in the description, or you can scan the QR code that's on your screen right now. Every little bit of support helps us keep making these deep dives. So thank you.
Thanks so much for watching this breakdown here on NFL Nexus. I really hope it gave you a new perspective heading into this massive playoff matchup. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss what's coming up next. We'll see you next time.